Hi, welcome back to Strategic Planet. Today we're going to look at reference management software. More specifically, I'm going to focus on Refworks. What you can see here is the login page for the legacy version of Refworks. There are two platforms that ProQuest provide, the newer Refworks and the legacy version. As I've been doing this for a while, I'm actually on the legacy version. At some point in the future, I will actually do a short video explaining the differences. Now, for those of you who are not with Refworks, don't worry, because today I want to really discuss the workflow process rather than the nitty-gritty details of how you use Refworks. I'm going to do that in another video a bit later on as well. What you can see on the main screen on the left hand side is a list or a summary of all the references that you have. More importantly, on the right hand side you'll find a list of folders. Now this is one of the first things that I recommend you do in all cases. Create a set of folders that you can use, and my tip is to develop folders based on the subject group. So in this example I've got folders related to advertising, book on digital, case studies, consumer behavior, etc. At the top of the summary of each reference you'll see a number of icons. The first, the star, which is add to my list. I don't tend to use this because I tend to put everything I need in a folder. Then you've got edit, which is probably the most important icon that you will use. Delete, so you can delete the reference if need be, get the citation, or to view the actual reference that you've already uploaded. So how do you get the references in? Well, in most cases when I'm producing an article, I will be focusing on other articles which I will find in Scholar. So if I just open up Google Scholar here, you'll see I'm going to look for an article related to the marketing mix. Now I type this in and I'll get a whole list of items available. You'll see at the bottom of each article a number of links, hyperlinks. The most important one is the double quotes, because if you click on that it opens up citation options and you can see it in various formats. Now what I do, I take it a step further, is that you'll notice at the bottom of the pop-up blocks for additional hyperlinks, I click on the Refworks one, and that takes me to Refworks, and the process is such that it will upload all the details into your database. But first, because the platform has been updated, you have the option of two versions, the legacy version or the new version. As I said, I use the legacy version, so I click on that. You can click on the bottom to show don't show this again if it becomes a little bit annoying. Now what happens is another pop-up window will appear in your Refworks site, and you click on the last imported, and that shows you what you've just uploaded. It generally tends to be complete, but I need to add it to a specific folder. So I click on the edit and it opens up the details, and here you can see what has been added to the process. So I'll show you an example. I'm going to add it to a couple of folders to demonstrate that it doesn't have to go into one specific folder. And then one of the other things that I need to add is the DOI. Now the DOI stands for Digital Object Identifier, which is a unique alphanumeric string assigned to a registration agency to identify content on the internet. If you are using APA format, they actually require you to have the DOI in there, and that's why you should really add it to the process. And you can find it by actually opening up the article. So if I go back to Google Scholar and open up the article, you'll see it actually in the somewhere on the page that is showing the details of the article in question. Once I've done that, I can just save the reference. And here you'll see a summary of what you've just uploaded. This process tends to work for books as well as articles, but sometimes the books aren't there, or you may need to update some of the data. But what if you're looking for something which isn't in Google Scholar, let's say a website? Well, all you have to do is click on New Reference, and it will give you a step-through process of what you need to add. The first thing you need to do is confirm the reference type. So you click on the drop-down menu. In this case, I'm going to select website or web page, and then you'll see the whole format change. Let's choose one of my web pages. Now, if you click on the title in a web page and you add it to the title in the Refworks, it comes up in the format that you've just seen. A top tip is to open Notepad and to copy and paste it in there, and then copy it from there. That gets rid of all the formatting associated with the text you've just copied. Now I will add my name as the author at the top. Now I'm purposely going to create a mistake with my name, but I'll come back to that in a second. So I've added the URL and the date that it was written. I'll put it in a folder, let's say market research, and then I go to save. But before that, you can see that there are additional fields that you can add if you want to. The data at the top should be sufficient. So here, when I click Save a reference, it says there's an error with the name. It should be in the format of surname, comma, then first name. So I'll just go back and correct that. So now you can save it, and then you can see the summary here. We go back and look into the folder to see what I produce. You can see the following. And there's my details there. If you need to search for a particular reference, just go to the top to the search bar and type in the author that you're looking for, or even the title of the article or book, and it will come up with a list of items. So you've done all your work, and you've added all the various references that you want to use. How do you get an output? So in this example, what I'm going to do is focus on one of the articles I've been writing, which is to the World Social Marketing Conference. So I've had that as 1WSC. So if I click on that folder, you'll see a whole range of references that I will be using. Now let me just do an example of selecting specific items. So on the left hand side you can see a checkbox. I'm just going to check those. When you click on create bibliography, what you'll see is a pop-up box appear, and there are three options. You can select the selected items, i.e. the ones you've just checked, the whole page of the reference list in the folder, or all within the specific folder that you've chosen. You then want to decide on what output style you want. So in this case I'm going to choose APA, and then you have the option of saying where the output's going to go. The first example I'll use is HTML, which just puts it into a web page. So click on create bibliography, and it just takes a couple of seconds, and hey presto, there's your page with your references on it. Now let's say I want to produce it in Harvard referencing style. Do exactly the same thing, and now you can see the differences. You'll pick up that the surnames are all in capitals for the Harvard, and on the APA 6 you can see the DOIs. You can also output the data to Word, so I'm going to output it to Word for Mac, and this is what you'll get. I always check the references that I produce, because there will always be some mistakes in there. For some reason it's not 100% foolproof. I do need to go and adjust some of the data or edit some of the data accordingly. And what I usually do is I'll go back and amend the Refworks database as well if I've spotted a problem. So that is the process of managing your references. First thing is create your reference management platform. Within it, identify or develop specific folders, get your references through Google Scholar or type them in, manage them accordingly, then you can output the data in whatever format that you want. I hope you found that useful. See you again soon.